So welcome to part 2 of the week 2 first term of maths for the primary 5 section. So we are still talking about we are still discussing the fractions. So here now we are going to talk about how to convert or how to change fractions to decimals. So for us to be able to understand it better, let's split this into three. So the first one is that we are going to start by converting or change fractions that have the denominator. You understand? That means number at the bottom of the fraction slash or fraction bar. Don't worry about fraction slash or fraction bar for now. I'm going to explain that to you when we move to the board, because we are going to do a lot of calculations there. So the first fraction we are going to convert are fractions that have 10, 100 or 1000 as their denominator, like 2 over 10, like 7 over 100. So, and the other part is these fractions that have fractions with factors of 10, 100 or 1000 as denominator, like those are the fractions that have factors of 10, 100 as that, like 2 over 4 for example. Now because 4 can goes in 100, yes, 4 can goes in 100 and 5 can goes in 10, like that. So we'll be able to, if we separate it like that, it will be easy for us to already understand, and we can easily know how to change fractions that have 1 over 4 or 1 over 5 or 1 over 8, and it will be easy for us to actually change fractions that have factors of 10, 100 and 1000 as the denominator. If you don't understand what factors is, don't worry, I will explain to you when we are working, when I give you an exercise and an example about this changing fraction to decimal. So don't worry. So the third one is fraction with denominators that are not factors of 10. So we have fractions that have factors of 10, 100 and 1000 as their denominator, and we have fractions that did not have denominators that are factors of 10, 100 and 1000. So we have 2 over 7 for example. We have 5 because there is no number you can multiply with 7 that will give you 10, or that will give you 100, or that will give you 1000. And the same thing with 6. We have 5 over 6 here, and we have 2 over 3 here. Now let me quickly ask you a question. The 2 over 7 then, which type of fraction is that? Is it an improper fraction? Is it a mixed fraction or a proper fraction? So it's a proper fraction. Yes. So we have 5 over 6 also a proper fraction. We have 2 over 3 also, which is also a proper fraction. So keep that in mind. So let's move to the first one first. So the first one is we are going to convert or change fractions with the denominator that have 10, 100 or 1000 as their denominator. So moving to the board right now. So we are in front of the board, you can see. So the first example I will give you here is 6 over 10. So we have 6 over 10. So if you want to change 6 over 10 to decimal now, the first thing you are going to do is to draw a bar like this. So this is 6 here is the numerator, so this is the fraction bar, you understand, and this is the 10 here is the denominator. That means the number at the bottom. Now, and I want to explain to you how to convert numbers that have 10, 100 and 1000 as the denominator to decimal. So when you see a number like 6 over 10 like this, a fraction like 6 over 10 like this, the first thing you are going to do, let me check the color here. So the first thing you are going to do is to write 6 here at the top, after you write the fraction bar like this, and write 1. So we are rewriting the question here. Now 6 over 10. But what we change here is that we put a decimal point here, because you can easily change a whole number to a decimal by putting point here, because 6.0 here or 6 point is the same thing as 6. So that one shouldn't bother you at all. So 6.0 is the same thing as 6. You understand? So keep that in mind. So once we have that one now, once we have 6 over 10 now, we are now going to shift decimal point one time to the left. This is our left here. So we move decimal point like this to the left here. So decimal point will be here. So that as we move decimal point one time to the left, we cancel 1 0 here, because we have 1 0 here. That's the reason why we are able to shift the decimal point like this to the left one time. So what we have now here is 0.6 over 1 Now when you see a question, when you see a work like this, 0.6 over 1 doesn't make any sense, so you can easily change it to 0.6. now whenever you're asked to change a number like 6 over 10 to decimal, so the answer will be 0.6 because you are going to shift decimal point one time. So that is the first question. So I want you to do this one. I want you to do let me quickly change the board here. So I want you to do 8 over 10. I want you to change 8 over 10 to decimal. You understand? So pause the video now and quickly. So if you are able to do it, the answer will be 0.8 because you are going to start from this place and change decimal point and move to decimal point to this side one time. That means we are going to have 0.8. Now let's move to the second example. Now the second example is that we are going to change 81 over 100. So 81 over 100. We want to change this one to decimal. So remember we are dealing with number fractions that have 100 as their denominator. So this will be, draw the fraction bar like this and write 100 here at the same thing, like we did in the first one. So write your decimal point here. So we are going to shift decimal point one time to the left like this, 1, and we are going to cancel 1 0. So we shift it 2 and we cancel 1 0. You understand? The decimal point will be here now. So if we have more than 2 zeros here, we are going to continue shifting it until we cancel all the zeros. I think that's the only secret that is there. So now after you cancel all the zeros that is there, just write equals to 81 this point. So write 0 here. So we have 0.81. So that's the correct answer. So let me give you one exercise to do before I move on to give you another example. So quickly do 15 over 100. 15 over 100. Change 15 over 100 to decimal and pause the video now so that you'll be able to work it by yourself. Don't try to copy my answer directly because if you do that, you won't be able to understand it better. You understand? Now if you're able to do it and you are able to, it doesn't mean if you miss it, just watch the way I'm going to do it. So I won't write all the things down here. I will just explain like this. So you start here, put decimal point here, and you are going to shift decimal point one time here to the middle of 1 and 5. So you cancel 1 0 here. Then you move decimal point second time to this point. Decimal point here, so you cancel the second 0. Now we have 0.15. So and you hide the 0 here. That means the answer is 0.15. So if you ask to change 15 over 100 to decimal number, that means the answer will be 0.15. I think that's easy enough. Now let me quickly explain all the secret that is here in changing any numbers that have 100, 10 and 1000 as their denominator. Now this one will be quick with this because we still have one more examples that that's a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult if you're able to listen to the explanation and do the exercise. So let's assume that we have 5 over 100 now. 5 over 100. Now if you want to change this one now, probably just write 5 like this. And you write 100 like this. So decimal point will be here. You see decimal point one time here. Decimal point is here now. You cancel 1 0. You see decimal point the second time here. You understand? Here now. I'm coming. Let me quickly do this. So you shift decimal point to this side now. Decimal point is here now. You cancel 1 0. But notice the space that is here. It's important that you look at this now and you really pay attention to this. Here there's an empty space here and we can't close it like that. We can't just say 0.5 because if we write 0.5, the answer will mean another thing. Remember that this decimal point is no more here. Remember that the decimal point is no more here. It's no more here. Decimal point is now here now. The decimal point is here. So if you want to, for you to be able to understand, that means you are going to add 1 0 here. So anytime there's a space like this when you are changing fraction or you are converting fraction to decimal, so whenever you see a space like this, you put an 0 here. So the answer will now be you might have even get the answer. The answer will now be 0.05. So the answer will be 0.05. Now the answer will be 0.05. Now let me work with another example here. Now let's say you want to change 99 over 1000 now, or let's say 99 over 1000. Yes, I think you have not used any 1000 before. Now 99 over 1000 now, so you write 99 here over 1000 again with 30. You put decimal point here. You shift decimal point the first time, cancel 0. You shift it the second time, cancel 1 0. Remember the decimal point is here now. So we shifted the third time here. You understand? That means decimal point is here and we had 1 0 here. Now the answer is now 0.099. You understand? That means we just had 1 0 here. That means the answer is 0. I'm sorry about this. That means the answer is 0.099. So whenever you have to change a number like this over 1000 to, you shift the decimal point 3 times. So what I really want to explain here is that no matter what the question is, you just have to know how many zeros is in the denominator. You understand? At the number at the bottom. So if the denominator has like 3 zeros, like 1 zeros, you are going to shift decimal point 1 times. Like in this question now, 72 over 10. That means we are going to shift decimal point. You know, the decimal point will be here. Shift it 1 times because we have only 1 0 here. Cancel it. That means the answer is 7.2. So the answer is 7.2. So whenever you have to change any number or any fraction that have 100, 10, 1000, or even 1 million as denominator, you shift decimal points in the place of the, and you shift decimal point 1 time, you cancel 1 0. Shift decimal second time, you cancel 1 0 until you do not have another any more zeros in the denominator. I think let me give you one more example so that this thing will be clear to you even better. So let's say we have 821 now, 821 over 100 now. You know, definitely we are going to shift decimal point 2 times, and if you shift decimal point 2 times, it will be 1 2. You understand? This will be, let me use another color so that you need to see this there. You start from this way, this will be 1 2. That means the answer will be, that means the answer is 8.21. now if this is 1000 now, we are going to shift decimal point 3 times. So that's just about it, and that's how to change any numbers to decimal number based on any numbers that have 10, 100 or 1000 as denominator. Now there's one more examples that I want to give you, and I will give you an exercise about this too. Let's assume that you want to change 12 whole number 3 over 100. Don't mind by writing. So 12 whole number 3 over 100, you want to change it to a decimal number. So the first thing is that you have to split it. We have whole number here. You know, this kind of number is what? Let me ask you, this kind of number is what? Okay, it's a mixed number. So you are going to split it like the 12 plus, you understand? So we have 12 plus 3 over 100. Let me draw a line like this. Now we have 12 plus 3 over 100. The next thing is that this is 12. You understand? So this will be 12 plus. We are now going to change this 3 over 100 to decimal. You understand? Though we want to change 12 whole number 3 over 100 to decimal, but we first need to change this one to decimal. So if you change this one to decimal, that will be, you need to shift decimal point 2 times. 1 like this. Let me use this. Let me use the red color. So you have 1 2. So decimal point will be here, and you will add 1 0 here. Remember that. That means the answer is 0.03. You understand? So the answer will be 0.03. 0.03. Let me rub this off. So this is 0.03. That is 0.03. Okay, Now if that one is clear now, if that part is clear now, it's easy for you to understand that I remember what I told you when I'm explaining fraction to you, when I'm explaining decimal to you, that we have a whole part. You know, 0 here before the decimal point is the whole part, and when you call this number, when you read this number, you say 12 whole number. That means this one, that means this 0 here and this 12 now, this 12 here, they are whole numbers. You understand? That means you can add whole numbers together. Now if you have 12 plus 0 now, the answer will be 12. You understand? Because 12 plus 0 is 12. So we have 12 plus 0 is 12. We now have a decimal point here, and we have 03. I think so. Whenever you have to change 12 a number like this, 12 number 3 over 100 to decimal, so the answer will be 12.03. Now if this, the way we get this one, the way, if this one, if this step, the step here, if it's not clear to you, this is what you are going to, this is what you can also do. I'm coming. So you can just say 12 here. You understand? And I believe this one will be here. If this one will be clear once you understand that this number, any number here before the decimal point is a whole part, that it is a whole number. Now if 1 is here, you are going to add 1 with 12, that will be 13. If 3 is here and 4 is here in this place of 12, now if let's assume that 4 is here and 1 is here, you're going to add it, that will be 5. You understand? So now this will be, you can also do like this. So this will be 0.03, and if you add this together, this will be 3, this will be 0 point, and this will be 2, and this will be 1. So that's another way to calculate it, and I believe that one is even a little bit complex if you think about it. So just follow this one. So that's it. Let me quickly give you an exercise to do, and the exercise will make it a little bit more clear to you. Now if you do, let's say 3 whole number 13 over 100 now. So pause the video and do this. Make sure you do it before looking at my answer. If you do it correctly, the answer will be I think 3.13. Now how did I arrive at this? Because we are going to do 3 plus, you understand, 13 over 100. So remember, you change 13 to decimal place. You change 13 over 100 to decimal. So that will be shift decimal point 2 times 1. So that will be 0.13. Now that is 0.13. If you add it with, I'm just drawing a bracket here so that we really mix together. Now let me use another pen. Let me use black pen so that it's a little bit clear to you. So let's say you want to add 3 plus 0.13. Decimal point, you don't have to decimal point. Don't worry about this. So 0.13, you want to add it together now. You understand? And you know, the first thing is you have to understand 3 is in the whole part here, and we have 0 as whole part. So 3 plus 0 is 3. So that will be 3.13. Now let's assume that we have, I just want to quickly, okay, let me use another layer here. Now let's assume that we have one, let me know what is, okay, let me add another layer here. Okay, let's assume that we want to add 1 plus 2.14. Let's assume that you are calculating a question like that and you arrive at this. So that will be 1 plus 2, that will be 3.14. So that will be the answer. You understand? So that's that about that. I think that's the end of the part 2 of the video. So goodbye. Make sure you go back to all the exercise we have did. You understand? And quickly cross check. You can rewind the video and quickly cross check it so that you'll be able to understand it. Because if you don't understand this part, it will be difficult for you to understand this second one, which is fractions that have denominator that are factors of 100, 10 and 1000. So goodbye for now.